Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today we're in the AV-8B Harrier and we're looking at cold start and ground alignment from an airbase. We have a separate video on how to do this from a carrier. First things first, battery on. Right click to the on position. Next we want to contact the ground crew to turn our external power on. So the comms switch we're going to be pressing, the comms menu is that one there. Press comms menu, ground crew, ground electric power on, and wait for the response. Okay, the power is on. Now we're going to turn the brightness of our mfds on. You can use mouse scroll wheel or left click and drag like I'm doing here. As well as that, we're going to do the ODU and the UFC brightness as well. Next, if we punch over to the right, we're going to look EHSD on this MFD here. And then data, because we're going to fill in some data, and then aircraft. We're going to enter the data for our aircraft for the northing, the easting, and the magnetic variation. To find that information, I'm going to press right shift and kilo to bring up our default kneeboard. Initial position it tells me here is the latitude, the longitude, and the magnetic variation there. At the time of making this, May 2020, we do not need to type in the altitude. That may change in the future. If it disappears here in the UFC, then I'm just going to click aircraft again. So let's type in the latitude. We're going to press 2 for N north, and then type in 250644, enter. I'm going to click position again on the ODU here, position that says POS there. Longitude, which is going to be in this case an easting, so 6 for east, and 0, obviously 3-digit for an easting, 0561957. Enter, and it may round up correct as required. We're not going to type the altitude in. Next is the magnetic declination. So we've got magnetic MVAR there, magnetic variation. So we're going to tell it that it is easting and that it is 1.6. And again, it may round it up for you. It's up to it how it wants to do it. That's that, and that's entered. Out of interest, we've got wind, true heading, and ship. None of that you need to enter at the moment, but this may be expanded on at some point. Right shift and kilo to get rid of the kneeboard. We're going to bend our stick over here, and next we're going to set the alignment going, and we go to ground alignment INS ground. We can see that we have progress here. It's going to take about 2 minutes 51 seconds, and at the end of it it's going to say OK basically. Next we're going to close our canopy, left control and Charlie. Next check our generator is on there, and it is. Next to the left our fuel shutoff lever, left click down, and our DCS switch up. Next, oxygen, left click on. Fuel pumps, right normal, that's a right click, left normal, and I want to double check that my fuel proportioner is in the up forward position as well. And I want to bear in mind that the cold start procedure for this aircraft has changed many times over the last 2 years, so I'm going to do this as an all-encompassing, comprehensive startup to make sure that we cover everything and that it becomes future-proof. So we're going to go engine start, left click. We can cancel the master caution in a minute. We're going to wait until the RPM here reaches 0.92%. Fast forward, done. We cancel this caution here, whichever one I click. Next, we're going to look for our throttle cutoff switch, and it's a real sod to find. I like to move my mouse around here until I find it right there. Make sure you've got throttle cutoff lever and not the parking brake, which will be on the standard from a cold start. Throttle cutoff. And now I'm going to be able to move my throttle forward slightly. That's as far as it will go now. We'll spool up to about 285 on the RPM. Next, because we're being extra thorough, we're going to check that our SAS pitch, roll and yaw are all up, and they are. Q feel is up, and it is. RPS yaw, we're going to move from test to on with a left click. Flaps are going to go on with a right click. I'm going to double check it's an auto by going right click all the way up and then left click back down to auto. Next I'm going to arm my ejection seat, double check my canopy is closed, and it is. Left click, arm ejection seat. Next I'm going to turn on the COM1 and COM2 radio volumes like this, and the HUD brightness there. Next, I'm going to check the quality of my alignment. You can see it's 2 minutes and 51, and it's okay. So the alignment is done. It's good to go. I can now move my INS mode selector into either nav for general INS alignment or IFA for in-flight alignment. In-flight alignment is generally superior to nav because it takes information from satellite GPS to update its position and to prevent degradation. So IFA in this case. There'll be a caution and it will self-cancel. Next, some stuff that we should do as well. FLIR on in case we're going to be using the FLIR, because it's hard to do that in flight. Dual mode tracker on in case we're going to be using that. And our pitot heat on in case we're going to be using that. Next, some tactical stuff. RWR, we're always going to want on pretty much, so we're going to turn that, left click and drag or mouse scroll wheel. Expendables, one right click to auto for now. If we've got a jammer pod, then we're going to go to standby. If not, then we're going to go to off. Next, our external lights, master switch, right click. Set up your interior lights, fitting however you need them set up. Back to our right MFD. Mustn't forget to remove our box from data here. Finally down to the radio. Master mode into transmit receive. And volumes ICS here. I'm going to left click and drag fully. This is a pyramid knob, so make sure you get both of them like that. And that is how we stand with a hot start on the AV-8B. I hope that was useful and see you later.